Alright guys, here I am for a follow-up video on this, the WingSung 3013. I had a good long 25-minute video on my struggles with this particular pen and wanted to give you the latest update to it. And I've had a lot of good feedback from people who have watched that particular video. Thank you for everybody's feedback, by the way. Some of it was relevant, some of it not quite as much, and yes, some of the things I have that were suggested I had tried. And some didn't exactly apply because of some of the things that I had done for troubleshooting. So, wanted to share with you what I ended up doing. Now, in the video, you saw that I had changed out that feed, and let's take a good look at that feed. Now, that's usually a clear feed. You see how that is just full of purple right now because I do have that Birmingham Pens Andy Warhol pop art purple ink that is in that particular pen. So, that's a good sign, right? Now, one of the things I had done, and I showed you that I had done, was I took another WingSung nib. I had ordered this pen, and I had waited to be able to get one with a medium nib in it. Now, one of the things that one of you viewers had said was WingSung, in order to do the medium nibs, is essentially they take them from the 698 and they throw them into these, and they may not be very well fitted to the feeds. And I guess that's fairly plausible because what I had done is I have other WingSung pens in my collection, and I had some really inexpensive ones, so I cannibalized one of those and I ripped off that feed and I put it in the pen. Still had a problem when I had tried that medium nib. It just wouldn't work real well, as you saw some of here in my writing sample. It just would keep having me giving me a hard start, and just wouldn't work. So I went ahead and I took that fine nib that was mated to that particular feed. I didn't want a fine nib. I really did not. I just did not want a fine nib on my pen. I'm not a huge fan of fine nibs. But I wanted my pen to write. So I went ahead and put the fine nib in, and boom, it started to write perfectly. So had I actually ordered a fine nib when I originally went to go get the pen rather than waiting to get the medium nib, because that medium nib was actually very smooth and it worked very nicely. So I have right now a pilot style medium nib. What I will do is I'll try it in another pen. So let's say if I have a Pilot Metropolitan that has a fine nib, or some other Pilot here in our collection that I just don't like the nib, I will try the medium nib and see if that nib will be interchangeable and if it will work well, even though it's a WingSung nib. So I'll give that a shot. But I have been carrying this pen majority of the week, and a couple of days just jostling around in my pocket in one of my pen holders. So it's been getting a good workout, not only in use, but also in being carried. And I have had no issues with it ever since I put in that fine nib. So it's not quite as smooth as I like, but it's reliable. So I may spend some time just working on this particular pen. It's not horrific. It's just not as good as that medium nib wrote when the medium nib wrote. So, alright, so that's the latest there. No problems when I put in a fine nib. So I ended up with a 3013 WingSung with a fine nib, whether I wanted one or not. So there you go. So if you're going to buy them, you know, $11 or less online, shipped to your door, just make sure you go ahead and get the fine nib. Don't bother trying to get the medium nib. And I've seen some other folks who have commented that saying they were having some of the same problems I was having. So there you are. There's my resolution. Put in a fine nib together with a mated feed for it, and I'm in business writing the way I would hope it would have written the first time around, only I've got a finer nib than I like or wanted.